Welcome to Keep It 99. Please give a huge welcome to our host, Zelmae, performer Uniqo, and the judge, Monray.
And the judge, Monray. And it's your boy, Zelmae, looking cute, looking clean, looking sexy. All right, man, let's ease into this one real quick. Lamar Jackson messed around and got his back hurt, and now the internet act like his whole resume disappeared overnight. Past his prime, they're saying. Already? Or are we just bored and need a new storyline, Monray?
Well, y'all so bored. It's ridiculous, man. Y'all know y'all so bored. Like, bruh, Lamar ain't past his prime. The man in his prime. You know, to be fair, he might be going towards the latter end of it because I think he about to hit no deep 30s. Like, just early 30s, I think, at best. How old is Lamar? He's 30, he's 31, I think. Yeah, something like that.
He's about the same age as Pat.
Well, I say, like, and I know Pat's 31. So, I don't say, like, he was just bored. Oh, my bad. He's 28. Like, so he's mid-prime of his years. What are people talking about like that? Now, the thing about it you can keep that's important is that Lamar Jackson has to be kept in respect to the fact that he is a runner. And so when he's a runner, you know, even though like Patrick Mahomes 30 years old, Lamar is putting more, you know, things on his body because of the running yards and the attrition and the hits that he's taking being a quarterback runner. Those things are important. So you do have to keep in mindset that, okay, he's going to have a little bit more air. But I think this season, you just have to chalk it up to injury. Like, I don't think nobody, or at least most sensible people, really think Lamar is 100% healthy. I don't think nobody does. I think most people understand.
But do you think that's part of the problem? Like, only year he hasn't been injured. What was the year before last? Every other year he has, like, injury problems. Is that not catching up to him? What do you think? What do y'all think?
Do I think it's catching up to Lamar? I won't go that far and say it's catching up. Do I think it might, you know, be having an effect? Like, yeah, he's always been, I don't want to say injury prone, but susceptible to injury. I think that's a good way to say. He's always been susceptible to injury, at least a little bit. And he's had playoff years, but the last few years, especially the last 2 years, if I remember right, he's been, you know, able to be there. Like, because we criticize him for his last 2 playoff runs, you know, when he played Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship and lost, and then last year when he played Josh Allen, he lost. So he's been available the last 2 years. Not like he's just been, you know, recent. Man, we talking about what have you done for me recently? Recently this year, sure, he was injured and then he came back. It's just he hasn't looked like himself. And I don't think nobody can really say with 100% certainty, okay, he's past his prime and any of that kind of stuff. When the beginning of the year, the first 5 games of this year, Lamar was looking like Lamar, like MVP Lamar from last year. Like, he kept going from where he picked up where he left off it. And so I'm just saying, like, what are people talking about? He past his prime. In his prime, I just think he's still injured, working through injury. You know, he even said, like, this past week, you know, my hamstring feels a little bit better before this past week of a game and stuff. So I was like, no, I think legitimately he was still injured. And nobody just released it. Nobody said anything that was in the Ravens organization because, you know, he probably wanted to come back to save the team. Because, like you said in the previous show, we were talking about, you know, if he didn't come back to that Bears game and actually, you know, help them win or something, that they were pretty much going to be out of it regardless. So, you know, pressure from the media can have an effect on that to where, like, okay, I need to come back even if I'm not really back. And we might even find out that the injury he had really should have been a, you know, 8-9 week injury for all we know, but you know, he came back on it after about 4. So you have to understand that just, you know, there's pressure with that, but to say that Lamar's past his prime when his injuries, you know, even his injury history has suggested, okay, maybe he's not 100% healthy. And earlier this season even, offense averaging 30 points a game with him on the field. And you know, the Lamar we see now just is not the same. To say the injuries and maybe even a little coaching don't have a part of it, I think it's just foolish.
Let me know your thoughts. Who do you think? Do you think Lamar Jackson is past his prime? Is the Super Bowl window closed for Lamar Jackson? Let me know your thoughts. We don't think so. Let us know your thoughts out there. But as y'all see, shout out to my guy Uniqo. This is the hot sports takes of the week. So we got to get into the next hot sports take of the week. College football, though. We got to be honest. The G5 teams got blown out. And I mean, didn't belong in the room type of blown out. So now the real question is, are we helping the sport by putting them in the playoff, or are we setting them up for being embarrassed What you think? Tulane. We talking about Tulane and
Look, I have been of the mindset that the college football playoffs, one, should have really only been extended up to about 6 to 8. Well, it really should have been extended to, but they decided to extend it to 12. So when you extend it to 12, you are going to have some teams that, for all intents and purposes, probably should not be there when you have 12 teams in there and everything in the nature. So I say the least you could do is get the 12 best teams. When you go into like giving division winners and everything automatic bids into the playoffs, it's going to sort of hurt the ranking because there are going to be people that are going to be ranked higher than those teams that should be there, but because they're not in a division and or which is Notre Dame, for example, not in a division or did better than other teams that they're not a part of their division, stuff like that. And you allow that, you're going to set yourself up for some pretty wanky game, just being honest. And the college football playoffs is already difficult to get the 12 teams in now because of the tomfoolery that happened like especially the last 2-3 weeks. So it's just, yeah, you are setting them up to be embarrassed, even though we're in an NIL deal time where, you have teams that, you can have them get pay players to come to their schools and everything, but all the schools don't have the same amount of money as we're going to find out next year with LSU. So, because of that, yeah, you're going to have teams get embarrassed like Tulane and everything. Congrats, you were able to be in the playoffs to get steamrolled and basically give a team a first round bye. And we hate saying that kind of thing because we want everybody to be competitive. But the sad fact about it is, just like I ain't gonna say just like in the NFL. Unlike in the NFL, all college teams do not have an equal chance to win necessarily like NFL. NFL, a team can be feeling themselves and they're saying, hey, all of a sudden the Titans will beat the Chiefs. No, not just like this week necessarily, but just, any given Sunday, a team can't win because these are still National Football League players that are still, the best in the world. Colleges is not like that. It's too many teams, too many colleges. There are hundreds of colleges, there's too many teams, and the division of talent is just not going to be even. There's not things like, the NFL draft where, weaker teams or lesser teams will be able to get better chance to get good players. No, that's just not going to be that way in college. So you have to treat college differently. And if you're going to treat college differently, then I think you just need to, you're going to hate to say, but do away with a lot of the division stuff and just be like, look, the 12 best teams is coming to playoffs. Because otherwise, or separate the teams. Like, okay, we're going to have the 8 best teams, and then we're going to have the division bowls, where like you're gonna have your division trophy and you'll get a separate monetary value or something, but you're just not gonna be in this playoffs because unless you reach a certain ranking or it's something like that. Because you can't do this. This is year over year. This is going to happen where you're just going to have teams that aren't ranked, that aren't in things like the Big Ten or the SEC, and they're just going to get steamrolled. And it's just like they changed the playoffs last year because you had the top 4 seeds that got automatic buys get washed. And so now you're having it on the back end, because on the back end, you're having the same division-ish or win and get in automatically problem that you had the first year. So you're not going to like it, but hey, sorry.
But shout out to Carolina. Shout out to Dandridge, 1380. But I agree. But I do want to caveat, because I saw some people, Speakeasy specifically, say they don't deserve no chance. They should never get in. They should make their own playoff. Listen, every once in a while, you'll get a Boise State every 4 or 5 years. And I think one of them deserve to be in. If you go undefeated, you beat every team, you beat a Power 5 team, the 1-2 you play a year, you go undefeated, I don't mind you getting in. But I'm sorry, St. Madison and Tulane already got beat by Ole Miss 45-10. Then they just got beat 41-10. It's like the same score almost. It wasn't nothing different gonna happen. I'm sorry, their coach got a new job. He wasn't gonna beat a whole bunch happened. But like I said, if you had that Boise State run and you get that like super running back that's a first round pick or that quarterback that's really good, they can lead you. Sure, why not put them in? So I don't think they should just have their own league where they can just win a championship because they have absolutely no shot. Cinderella make it fun, but at the same time, you can't just put every Cinderella in. Because the one Davidson you had with Steph Curry, you had a bunch of teams that were low ranked that got washed by like 80 points. so that's the one thing. That's the one problem with it. But I do think, and I think they keep trying to add more teams to try to like, oh, this will fix it. It actually gets worse. You get more complaining the more year. Because what we had when it was 4, everybody complaining about Florida State being the only team. This year you had like four teams complaining about not getting in. It's just the more teams you add, the more you're gonna complain. They have like every team in the league can almost get in the NCAA tournament, and they still have somebody complain about it. Every team, they got like 130 spots up in that tournament in college basketball. And somebody still complaining. You'll never end up complaining. Matter of fact, it's just gonna get worse because it's a lot of teams gonna lose 3 games compared to 4 undefeateds or 3 undefeateds and the 2 1-loss teams battling out. You have way less complaining than that, so I don't think it's a bad thing. But speaking of bad thing, and then we have KD, who sat down on Unguarded with Fred VanVleet and gave us vintage Durant, talking about a little musk, no lotion, feeling like he's in the trenches, which is hilarious, but also kind of tells you how he sees the game. He broke down the type of player he actually needs to make his life easier and then slid right into the real argument. What matters more, MVPs or championships? Where he said MVP. Monray, I don't know if you saw Unguarded. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I got a little snippet of it, once we talking about, the ashiness and stuff, I was like, okay, we ain't going to talk about the bathing properties. But, I mean, look, Kevin Durant, as everybody is, and ourselves, is entitled to their own opinion. With that being said, MVPs do not mean more than championships. He can say that all he wants. That is not the truth. And it's unfortunate because MVPs, should be considered more like, well, look, let's just keep it a being. One, it's a regular season award. For a reason. Now, do they mean something? Yes, it means that you were the most important player to your team in the league, or most valuable player in the league in respect to your team, your record and everything. But no, because they're not more important. Championships are more important. And that's just not in that league. It's in every league, dang it. Like, we remember the greatest players in the world and the greatest players in most of them in the Hall of Fame from their championships. And then the MVPs are icing on top of that. When we're talking about the greatest players in the world and throughout history, whether it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or LeBron James or Michael Jordan, we don't instantly say, oh, dang, LeBron got 2 MVPs, or they started like, no, LeBron James got 4 NBA championships, and he also has 2 MVPs. We say Michael Jordan is the GOAT. One of the greatest arguments for him is because he went undefeated in the finals and got 6 championships and never lost in there. We say that. We do not say he's the greatest because, he got MVP. No, we don't say that. And we all understand that they both mean something. But MVPs don't mean more. They don't. And most players probably won't say that necessarily. Now, it's going to be a little strange that Durant says that he's a 2-time champion himself, which is crazy.
But you got to think about the way he conversated. He said he want a point guard that instead of playmaking, he want one that can run downhill and make life easier for him, which he's basically telling you scoring is important to him. So,
I'm sure it's important. He played with Steph Curry, one of the greatest point guards in history, who made his life easy. So, yeah, you are going to say that. I understand it. And most of the other teams that he had did not have a point guard that was able to make his life easy, with the exception of like maybe Kyrie Irving, but Kyrie was hurt a lot of them years. So,
yeah, Russ too, bro. You see what kind of point guards he used to play with, by the way.
Yeah, I'm like, and so I just
James Harden as well, play point guard.
It was like ones that make his life easy. I understand it. It's just like, but no.
I want to shout out Fred VanVleet for like, listen, playmakers are important. I don't know what this positionless basketball is, but playmakers are important. I'm gonna show you when I play you how easy it is for me to have to set you up because I can score too.
Oh, VanVleet, if only the Rockets had you right now.
But he said, I can't play because I'll show you. Because you ain't never played with a point guard like me. You never played with a Rondo or somebody to set you up where you need to be to get easier shot. You only play with scoring point guard to give you spacing, which By the way, I do think the spacing argument comes at a interesting factor because Jordan didn't play with spacing because they had a bunch of people that couldn't shoot and a bunch of dudes in the paint. So that often leads to could they score 30 points or 40 points average in this league? And I'm like, if the whole league about spacing and getting space and playing one-on-one easier without hand checking and all that, he might have could have scored 40. Well, he averaged 30 for his career, so we know that. But
Talking about Durant?
No, I'm talking about Jordan.
Jordan, like I said, the league now with spacing and how I think one thing that's going to be really good for Jordan, even in nowadays time, is his ability to get to the hole. Like, now, was he going to be like AI or Kyrie with an amazing ability to, to cross with somebody? No, not necessarily, no. But could he get to the hole? Yes. Jordan can get to the hole. And I think that ability, which SGA uses a lot as a foul merchant or whatever, like Jordan would average a lot. I don't want to say like Luka, but a lot like SGA or whatever, to where like Jordan is going to get in the lane. He's going to draw fouls, especially with, because Jordan wasn't small, like not small, like some of the point guard stuff right now.
Like Morant a few years ago.
Yeah, like he's going to get in the lane. He's going to draw fouls. And then on top of that, in his later years, he was able to shoot as well with the spacing that they have now. It'd be disgusting. And then you forget Jordan also could play defense. So like he's going to be a great two-way player as well. It just would have been disgusting. It would have been disgusting. Jordan might could have averaged 40 just because of his ability to get in the lane as well. Like Jordan, he's going to take shots, but he's going to go in the lane, and doing that on top of that, it was going to be disgusting. Because they'll be like, this is unfair. Like,
but some people have been arguing that Durant argument that showed why Charles Barkley's sentiments was right. I understood his sentiment as a basketball player. His style of play, his scoring, his ability, making his life easier is important because most people can't do what he do. So when he say I don't need a playmaker, he can say that because he's elite levels. He's one of the greatest scorers of all time. Of course, you'll say that. Like, listen, just give me room. I can do my own thing. But most other players on your team will not be able to say that. So like that mindset is, I see why. But he gives me that feeling. I said in the video I made of him, but where y'all can watch when I give a full breakdown. His mindset to me is, I'm so great that all I need is this. And it's kind of like the Michael Jordan, why he can't like recruit, or certain great football players or certain athletes who are just great in general can't like recruit and scout and do all this stuff. Like Michael Jordan wouldn't be a great coach. He'd just be like, why you just can't do what I do? The same thing with Durant. When I hear him talk, I don't need you to do this. I can just get my own shot anywhere I want. I don't need you to play mate. But you got probably 3 other people on your team that probably can't. No, I know they can't say the same thing unless you own the Warriors, of course.
Now, the unfortunate thing about the Durant is that even though he says, this is what I need and everything of that nature, the teams Durant personally went to, when he made his own decisions other than the Warriors one, which was obvious, they haven't worked out well. Like, none of those teams have worked out well. It didn't work out when he formed his team with Kyrie. Now, some of that was because of injury, so I don't want to put that necessarily just on him. But that didn't work out that well. The Suns was horrible. But it was more because they gave up too soon. They gave up too soon on their point guard. Because Chris Paul showed he had at least a year or two that he still could have put in work. So they gave up to her, so that one didn't work out. And now he's on the Rockets, who don't have a point guard / playmaker on their team. And their offense, I'm gonna say it leaves some to be desired. Like, it feels like the offense can go up another level than what it is. Like, are they a contender? Yes, but the offense seemed like it could go up another level if they had a playmaker, and they don't have that point guard, floor general playmaker type of player right now. It's not really Amin Thompson. Şengün shouldn't be that guy because he's not Jokic. And Durant has never really been that person to where, to be able to run the team floor like that. It's not him. So it's going to be weird to see how this is going to fly, because it's pretty much Durant's last hurrah, when it comes to now, of course, unless he plays deep into his 40s like LeBron and be able to show that. But most likely, this is probably going to be his last major team, swap that he's going to go for. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I always tell people the reason LeBron lasted so long was simply because he had this ability to like not get hurt. So when you have that ability, it's kind of harder for you getting it. But I see. But like I said, I understand why Durant he think the way he does, and most people don't, because he's so talented that he thinks that's all he need. But I'm like, it's kind of what to Monray point. It's kind of why your teams haven't worked out. Oh, I just need a point guard to score and get out the way. Golden State got a whole system that works. That Steph can play point guard, but also Draymond can play point guard, so Steph can run around point forward or whatever. And Draymond might not be the best, but he's still kind of a playmaker. He couldn't score, but I know he was talking about specialists and all that. The reason he couldn't win, he had to go, which sounds weird when you be like, I need all of this help to go. So that's it. Next up, we do have a new segment: quarterbacks, franchise or fraudulent. Let's go in here. Let's get in here. Let's put the names up here so y'all can see them, so we can talk about them. Monray, let's go do the fraudsters or franchise quarterback list.
Oh boy! All right, let's see what we got here. What was my idea? So on this typical thing, we've had a lot of these quarterbacks for 16 weeks. Some of these quarterbacks are, rookies. Some are second year, third year even, and some past it. So we examine now. We've gotten a good body of work from a lot of these quarterbacks to, just see, do they have the potential? Are they capable? Are they franchise quarterbacks? Or are they a no for X, Y, and Z reason? Or do they need a little bit more time? It's primarily the reason why we got this. And I think starting off with Mr. Purdy, who has been paid, franchise quarterback money and just put on a wonderful 5-touchdown appearance yesterday and eliminated me from fantasy football. So I'm done with fantasy football behind that bullcrap. But so, Zell, I ask you first: is Brock Purdy franchise quarterback, or is he a fraudster?
I think it can still change, but right now I'm going fraudster. I seen what this coach can do with quarterbacks that's not in the league no more. Their coach is like a quarterback. He got hurt, and they didn't even start losing games because Mac Jones came in and looked, for the most part, better in a lot of games than Brock Purdy has until last night, which I have to give him a shout out for that. Which, if he can keep up that momentum, maybe he's been injured, but if he can keep up that momentum, he will quickly move to the other one. But we can't just be a prisoner of the moment. Mac Jones did the same exact thing he's been doing, and sometimes he played better in some games than Brock Purdy has in certain games. So I'm gonna have so far, fraudster.
I'm gonna agree. I think the jury is still out a little bit. Yeah, he's been paid money, but the difference between him and Mac Jones, what I would say, Mac Jones does fit a lot more of a system quarterback. He's a little younger, but he fits more of is he younger? I don't know, but he's more of a system quarterback. Purdy, I think, has a higher ceiling. And I think that was shown a lot last night. I don't recall Mac Jones having a 5-touchdown game. I just don't. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, kindly tell me in the comments, the live. I don't mind being wrong. I love to learn information. I don't think Mac Jones had 5-touchdown game, necessarily.
Oh, no, the ceiling, like I said, the game he had last night, and his ceiling is higher. But
yeah, I'll say he has a higher ceiling than Mac Jones. So I think the potential is there that he can, get that point. Right now, I don't say that. Now, mind you, Brock Purdy is just now entering his prime. He's only 25. So he's just not entering his prime. This is his 4th year in the league, I think. 4th year, 3rd or 4th year, I think. He just got paid his money. So 4th or 5th year in the league. So he's young. He's just not entering his prime. He's on one of the best possible teams because Shanahan's going to have him looking good. But it's hard. I'm not quite saying, like, okay, he's the guy that can take the team there. The schedule has been relatively light with the exception of a few games. He has been injured. He doesn't have an injury bug, but right now he's looking good, looking solid. But I'm not going to quite say franchise quite yet. He has the franchise money. I don't know if he has the franchise pedigree or stats or, we're gonna see. So he has, and so far, you got two NFC championship appearances, one NFC championship win, and a Super Bowl appearance. So by the appearances, by the degrees, you have some proof to say that you can do this. But how much of that is you versus the place that you're in and the Avengers that were around you at that time? We shall see. This playoffs, I think, is going to show a lot to if Brock Purdy can be a guy, can be the guy or a guy. I think that's a good way to say it.
Yeah. Next up,
the next one, we look up. I gave this to Uniqo. Shout out to Uniqo Williams. Shedeur Sanders. Is he the guy?
I'm going to say it's way too early to tell. This one is way too early. I know I always say this. His reactions are insane. Some people tell you, bro, I was looking at some Cleveland media, and they promise he's the worst quarterback they ever was. They will tell you that he's 40. And by the way, these stats are true. He is like 40th on like certain PFF rankings. 40 out of 40 eligible quarterbacks, which only like 32 teams. So he's like, I think he moved ahead of Dylan Gabriel in the last game. But we make fun of Dylan Gabriel for being short. Shedeur Sanders get like one tipped interception a week, but he also does some amazing things as well. Why? Because he's a rookie, and it's fine. It's okay if he make mistakes. It's okay if he does great. It's okay. I know the internet just puts him on either the highest pedestal or the lowest of lows. He plays well. But I do want to say this because his name is now on the list. The last 2 weeks, Tyler Show has been the best rookie quarterback. And I think that's a shock because Jackson Dart, after his second concussion scare, he's not playing the same no more. But I think the jury tie is way too early.
I definitely agree. If you're gonna ask me the feet to the fire, I'm like, no, not right now. No. I mean, you're on one of the worst 5 franchises in the NFL. That's one. You have basically maybe the worst offensive team because your running back Quentin Johnson. Shout out to him. I pray a good, successful recovery for him. He just got a pretty rough injury on his leg, so he's out. And your best wide receiver is Jared Jeudy, which nobody believes in. And I couldn't even name you the other wide receivers on the Browns team. So it's not like they have a lot for him to work with. The offensive line also is not really that good. So, I think he has so far he's shown a little bit of a higher ceiling because he's able to throw the ball downfield better than Dylan Sampson. But no, it's far too early. Right now, he's just trying to get through these next 2 games. And then we'll see who and where he may be starting for next year. But right now, it's too early.
Yeah, by the way, shout out Derpy in the chat.
Derpy in the chat. Shout out to Derpy in the chat. But I'll take this next one. I got to be fair and go first on at least some of them. JJ McCarthy, I'm going to also say it's too early. Now, mind you, before the season started, I know for a fact I am one of the few people, at least on this show or rep, that was not putting the Vikings super high on this list or in the playoffs or anything. I've been of the mindset since the start. It is far too early to automatically put them right there where they were last year with Sam Darnold or even where they were with Kirk Cousins because the man is a rookie. Like he got injured, I think, in the preseason last year.
Yeah.
Out the whole year. Has not taken a snap in the NFL officially, like in a real game. Had no experience. Didn't have that much experience in college, I believe. So the mindset to be like, okay, they're going to go 10, 11, 12, 13, maybe even another 14 wins just because the team is loaded, don't mean that because the majority of rookies, not that they don't succeed in the NFL, but the majority of rookies do not start their first year being Patrick Mahomes or Jaden Daniels. A lot more of them be Shedeur, Dylan Sampson, Cam Ward. They struggle because a lot of times they're on bad teams. And even if they're not on bad teams, they are rookies. They have to get their feet under them. Like, look at Drake May last year. Drake May struggled all year. And next thing you know, they turned it around because mind you, the Patriots look a lot better on paper, and they got a lot of players. None of those players were like world beaters. They just got more way around it, and he had a year under them, and they had a new coach that was able to push him further, and they turned around. But no, they struggled. Like Lamar Jackson wasn't able to throw the ball well when he first got into the league. Like Josh Allen struggled his first year. Like,
he struggled horribly his early year.
I was like, stop this. Like, so this mindset of, okay, that JJ McCarthy's going to block was insane to me. And that's why I was like, no, I don't have them in the playoffs. I think they're going to struggle. And he has struggled. He's been hot and cold, off and on, like a freaking microwave. Like, he's recent weeks, he's even been off and on. So just no. So is he a franchise quarterback? Right now, no, because it's far too early. Maybe we'll see next year if he can get more consistent with the higher points and earn the 9 nickname, possibly for a permanent status. But no, it's far too early right now.
I'm gonna say no, but again, it's too early. It's way too early. Because like I said, sometimes you can be like, I can see signs of it, but yeah, right now, no. I don't. Monray said everything you gotta say. He been injury prone. It's too early.
Yeah, he's out of injury right now. So
I'm saying so. He injury prone, as you can see, which is a bad sign for development, because it should be like in his second year. He should be like where Drake May will be injury prone. So it's hard to be injury prone and didn't make it consistently. So yeah, I have to say no right now.
Now, speaking of injury prone, we have Jaden Daniels, who's been going through the injuries all year, and they have already set him out for the year. He's done for the year. So I don't think anybody's going to question this, but there are questions on his build and his ability to take hits and stay healthy going forward. So is Jaden Daniels still, and I say still because after the first year, a lot of people had him locked, just like they did for CJ Stroud. And CJ Stroud struggled his second year, for different reasons, because of the horrible offensive line and stuff. But so has the question changed for Jaden Daniels? Is he a franchise quarterback?
If I had a good team, I'd say yes. So I'm gonna say yes. You gotta say, give him some receivers, give him offensive line. Don't run him as much. But I think we've seen the ceiling. The ceiling is like one of the greatest rookie years we ever seen. We're already seeing the ceiling. Now, could it go easily to Frost if he keep getting injured? Yes, but I'm going to say franchise still.
I'm going to say yeah, because the talent is there, the ability is there. Yeah, he had everything that you wanted: the talent, the ability, the leadership, the it factor, the intangibles. He had everything he needed, and he could run. He just has to, I think, build a little bit more size, muscle, and the team just has to be able to adjust around him, make sure the offensive line is square, make the team younger in a lot of areas, and get the running back situation straight. Shout out to Austin Eckler, hope you make a full recovery. Different things like that. But I think it's still emphatically, yeah, you gonna hold on to him. Now, Mr. Bo Nix, his second year, not as statistically impressive as his first year, which his first year went a little bit under the radar with how well he did statistically, but not as statistically impressive. But the overall wins are far better, even though they just lost to the Jaguars. But Bo Nix, 12-win team right now, looking at number 1 seed possibly in the playoffs. Is he a franchise quarterback?
I'm gonna put him as game manager. He is a game manager. I think his career will be game manager. You can win a Super Bowl with a game manager. You can. It's simple. Listen, I know people hate that word, game manager, but all you gotta do is make the plays when you need to, and you can win a championship. And that's what Bo Nix is. And he got the perfect coach for a game manager. He got Sean Payton, who will put together a great defense, a good offensive line, a good running game, and you just don't mess it up, and you make plays in timely manner, which he trusts you to do. And so far, that's what he did. He a game manager. I think that's where his spot gonna be. Because once you say Frost, that means he's probably not gonna be around long. I think he's gonna be around for like 10 years. Just making plays, but managing the game, not messing it up. Because when you say franchise to me, that can he win the MVP? That's what that is to me. And I don't think he can win MVP, but I also don't think they need to be looking for a replacement for him either.
Do I think he can be a franchise quarterback? Like game manager is so tough. I'm like, you sort of sounded like you were describing Jalen Hurts. We ain't go into that right now. Like I right now, it's so wishy. It's so wishy. I'm gonna say yeah, and the reason I'm gonna say yeah is because Bo Nix had a good year last year. And he's having a good year this year. Like his stats ain't as impressive, but he's showing you different things. Whether it's like, being able to come up in the clutch a lot of times, play well in the fourth quarter. Though some of them early quarters are rough. The reason why I say that is because we were looking at other quarterbacks very similarly, but when they got a really good number one receiver, which is something that I do not feel that the Broncos have. I'm not impressed with the Broncos receiving core. I haven't been impressed with the receiving core the entire year. I wasn't impressed with it last year. I wasn't impressed with it before this started. So if I had to make a guess, if you were to get him a good receiver, because Cortland Sutton is a good receiver, he's not number one receiver. So if you were to get him a really good receiver, I do think it's a possibility he could blossom. Maybe like Josh Allen.
Josh Allen a freak of nature, though.
It is, but the thing about it, Josh Allen did not sparkle and blossom until Stephon Diggs got there. When Stephon Diggs got there, that's when Josh Allen had blew up. I think it was around like his fourth year in the league. He blew up that year, and it was over after that. And he became the threat that he was. And then, now that Diggs is gone, he's still good because that was able to advance his ability, his career, all of it. And I'm of the mindset, if you give Bo Nix just a better receiver, and nothing against Cortland Sutton, like it's not what I'm saying. Troy Franklin, they're fine, but none of them are really like top tier wide receiver threats. Nobody's gonna say that they are. Nobody's really gonna be afraid of the Broncos offense, which is why it's shocked me that they've been able to score 30 points on some of these repeat occasions. But either way, because their wins are not necessarily always because of their defense. Their defense is good, but there have just been times where they've had to score 30 points and they've been able to do so. Like, nobody's really afraid of J.K. Dobbins and, this being real, like, we know it. But I'm going to say, yeah, it's a possibility that he can. Is he there right now? Maybe not, but can he be a franchise quarterback? I'm going to say, yeah. I mean, there's been game managers that have been paid before. I'm going to say, yeah, he can be a franchise quarterback, but I do say he needs a better wide receiver. Now, if they win the Super Bowl this year, then it is what it is. Ain't nobody can be able to take that from him. But, barring that, because, we don't know how the playoffs is going to go, I think if you get him a really good receiver, we might be able to see some things.
Yeah.
Considering, this is going to be his second playoff appearance in 2 years with a less than desirable offense. I mean,
Yeah. We'll see. Next up, we have Jackson Dart.
Okay. I still think Jackson Dart has been the best rookie of the year. Now, I know he's taken a couple of concussion scares and stuff, and that's because of the, I'm going to say, aggressive way that he plays football, especially with the running and stuff, which is something that he has to learn and be able to balance that out with his game to, still be able to do the running and be a threat, but be able to balance it with, not putting yourself in harm's way. But I still think Jackson Dart has been the most impressive rookie this year. At least from a quarterback perspective. So I'm going to say, yeah, he can be a franchise quarterback. I'm going to say, yeah.
I'm going to say yes, too. But, my God, he got to start getting out of bounds because he done had – that man done went to that tent 5 times this year for concussions. 2 of them. I think he got 1 or 2? He done been in that tent 5 times for concussions. Listen, his career will be short if him and Scatterboo don't. Scatterboo kind of a wild card, but
Scatterboo a wild card, but Scatterboo has already had a serious injury. Like he's already got his first serious injury already this your rookie year in the league. And mind you, Scatterboo wasn't even getting the primary amount of runs and everything throughout the year. He came on a little later in the year when Jackson Dart started. So he didn't even get to that point. He already has a serious injury. So Scatterboo, he's gonna have to be able to manage that a little bit. Now, it was unfortunate how he got the injury. It wasn't just because he was headstrong. He was just unlucky. But him and Dart, they are gonna have to matter of fact, the whole team, because they're the main linchpins of that team right now.
Malik Neighbors got hurt, so I don't know.
Yeah, but Malik Neighbors too. I say they are they're the linchpins of that team. So, and all three of them have had injuries. You know, a couple of concussions. One, a leg injury here, an ACL injury there. So, you know,
that field also they need to change that field. That's how people breaking their legs. That field is an awful field.
Yeah, them and the New York Jets, boy. We done told them enough times about that crap, but you know.
Chicago finally moving from their field. Now we need the Arizona Cardinals, the Raiders, and the
Jets. Please move the Jets field. The Jets, oh my gosh, they need to do something about their field.
I done see some breaking legs from them four field.
So, you know, we just gotta. I'm gonna pray for them. Is all I can say. I'm gonna pray. But you know, they just gotta get healthy. But I do think they're there. We move on from there to a nice debatable one. Caleb Williams, the man who just broke the Bears' curse of not being able to beat the Packers because they was able to get a lucky win against them this past week. And I do say lucky because look, unfortunately, Jordan Love, which we'll talk about him too, he got injured second quarter of the game. So when he wasn't there, they then moved on to Malik Willis, who we know is not that good of a thrower of the ball. And the game ended up being a dropped. Yeah, we know what happened. But either way, Caleb Williams, game-winning throw, DJ Moore, touchdown. Has he proven that he can be a franchise quarterback?
The thing I always wondered was his head and his mental. And I'm starting to feel like he's getting that confidence of his mental because talent-wise, he is 100% franchise quarterback talent-wise. He can throw from every angle, from anywhere. He can run. He can do everything you want him to do as a quarterback. Caleb Williams, if you had a ideal quarterback, he would be probably one of the type of people you want to put as your quarterback. He can make any throw from any angle, from anywhere, and make a play out of nothing if he don't have it. And if y'all didn't see that ball he threw to DJ Moore,
that move was crazy.
That was beautiful. And then the fact he put his hands in his pocket while it was in the air. I don't know if y'all noticed it. He threw it, put his hands in the pocket, and walked off. And it hit DJ Moore. DJ Moore had a corner right here. Hit him right in the chin and walked off the field. I said, ain't many people can throw a perfect pass like that and put his hand in their pocket and know they did it. Talent-wise, he's 100% there. And I'm thinking that winning with Ben Johnson, as long as he got Ben Johnson as well, I think Ben Johnson, the main reason I can say this, because you don't often get Ben Johnsons.
The offensive mind is a great one right there.
I'm saying, Ben, you don't get many Ben Johnsons because look, he got almost the same team. He made Robert Odunze and they got Luther Burden now. Odunze look a lot better. DJ Moore getting the ball where he's supposed to be. Swift, and then they got another running back that came on, a 7th-round pick from Rutgers. That man got that offensive moving. They don't give up sacks. I think he one of the least sack quarterbacks in the league now. With nearly
they put the investment in there.
That's what I'm saying. So with that background, with the investment they put in them and the coach with his talent, I got to put it. I got to. That talent is, you invest in talent, you got it.
I mean, I really, really, really want to say that, yeah, he can be. Right now, my feeling is no. Right now, my feeling is like no. Right now, it's hard for me to say. And the reason I say that is because, yeah, the end of the game that was amazingly, beautifully thrown ball. The other 3.5 quarters of that game were not that good. They just were not. And it's hard. I hate saying that because I'm like, they ended the game wonderfully. But had the game really went the way it was supposed to, we will be talking about an entirely different metric with Caleb Williams. Now, I didn't know because he was given the ability to be able to win the game and they was able to go win the game. So I give you a clutch factor in that instance. But I'm not going to act like the other 3 quarters where it was only able to put together 16 points against a team that were missing multiple important players. And they just were not able to capitalize on that. And the offense has been that way for the entirety of the year. Even recently, a lot of their games, like take the Eagles games, for example. They didn't beat the Eagles because of Caleb Williams and that offense. They beat the game because they was able to put up 200 points on the ground. And the run game has been one of the main reasons why that team has been successful. Though I do understand that that's something that you have to do with your your rookie quarterback be able to give them a good run game to be able to support them. But just no, I'm not going to say that right now when the majority of the game don't look good. And, you know, you have a little bit of flashes at the end that look good. I'm like, no, I'm not going to say it. Now, do they have a high record right now? Are they most likely going to win the NFC North? Yes. And I'm very proud they can say he can go make the playoffs. Me saying he can be a franchise quarterback is me saying I think they'll be able to go and make a run in the playoffs. And I just don't feel that way. I do not feel that way. I feel like no matter who they go against in the first round, I feel like they will be the underdog and the most likely they will lose. Because I feel like they will probably go against one of the other two people in the NFC West. I gotta make sure I get my directions right, which is the Seahawks, 49ers, or the Rams. I have no faith in them against that game at all. So I just cannot agree that I think he's a franchise quarterback right now. Has he shown flashes throughout the year that he can do? Yes. Has he put it together to make me think he can be that guy? No. I can't make myself say that yet.
I'm trusting him. He got everything around him. In life, you need things around you to make you great, even when you're not there yet.
I mean, can we say that about? I mean, the problem is he's like year two. I ain't gonna say year two, but he's like. We saying the same things about him that we just described Brock Purdy with. Brock Purdy has everything you can want. Wonderful play caller, wonderful team, all of that.
Talent. He is not as talented.
Like, you know, we say all of that, and Brock Purdy, I'm just like, you know, like Brock Purdy may not be as talented, but we also came to understand talent is not, and talent is a great thing in the NFL. Talent is not everything in the NFL.
But if you nurture it right, you can get a Josh out.
You can be wonderful. Talent is not everything in the NFL. Because there are just some quarterbacks that were amazingly successful, and it was just like did they have the most natural physical gifts? No. Even Tom Brady. You look at Tom Brady like an average person. Tom Brady wasn't amazingly physically gifted. Like no, he wasn't. Tom Brady looked relatively average, like an average NFL quarterback. GOAT. Or Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, his first few years really good. Like
Peyton Manning, but Tom Brady had a little bit better arm than most people.
That's what I'm saying. Like just they weren't like I said. I'm saying they weren't amazingly physically talented.
Peyton Manning was not at all. But Peyton Manning,
so I'm not gonna say it like talent ain't everything. Shoot, Eli Manning wasn't amazingly physically talented. He's a 2-time Super Bowl MVP and champion. Like so I know that it takes more than just talent. And I'm just not going to automatically say like that. He looks talented. He got the team around him. But does he look like the guy overall based off what I've seen this year whole entirely? No.
But this is what
is he a guy on a good team? Yes, he is.
This is what I'm going to say about talent, though. If you put talent everywhere it needs to be, it will spring. Jaden Daniels and CJ Stroud, primal offense has been they don't have talent. So they flounder a little bit.
But see, I say that. I say that, and we look straight over at the AFC at like Justin Herbert, who has all the talent. Question marks across the board for 5 years. I'm not gonna sit there and act like talent is the main. No, it's one of the determining factors. But you can have talent and still not be there.
He just now getting nurtured because that franchise is known to be cheap.
And if he goes 1-out this year, because he went 1-out last year. If they go 1-out this year, I don't want to hear no excuses.
Floundered Phillip Rivers.
I don't want to hear no excuses that they go 1-out this year like they went 1-out last year.
They floundered Phillip Rivers by not getting them talent because the ownership was cheap.
So, we will see. But we move on to the next one. Let's finish this up. So we got J-Lo. Shout out to Chris Broussard. Jordan Love. Has he proven he's worth the franchise quarterback money they paid him after year 2?
My boy, weekend wingman, Jordan Love is the only one worthy on that list, and I'm a Lions fan. Listen, Jordan Love, if he stay healthy, is 100% a great, talented quarterback. Listen, Green Bay do not miss on quarterbacks. I don't know what it is. They let them develop. They find one while the other quarterback there piss them off, but they just let them develop about 3 years, and then they come back good. The only difference between Jordan Love and everybody else is he gets injured a lot. That's the difference between him, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers. He gets injured more. But talent-wise, he's good. By the way, people forget the problem he had was he keeps coming off injury, and he starts slow off the injury, and then he picks up. Before he got hurt with the concussion, he was playing great. But injury, now he probably gonna come back a week or two being slow off injury, and then maybe by the playoffs he can get back to it. But Jordan Love, I think, is talented enough to be a franchise quarterback. I'm gonna put him yes. He just again, a lot of these people on this list I noticed is just got like if they can stay healthy. That's what I've been noticing. I've been saying they can stay healthy.
I thought I had an extra name on here, but I don't. But yeah, I'm gonna say Jordan Love. Yeah, I think last year I wasn't super impressed. This year, I think he's shown enough that you think he can be that guy. The Packers were in position to be able to win even last week, and he's shown some good growth, a little bit more consistency. I like what I've seen. I'm gonna say yes, he can be a franchise quarterback. I still don't like that he gets inconsistent at times, but after like the middle of the year, he was able to put it back together. I think yes, he can be a franchise quarterback. Now we move on to somebody who was hot the first 6 games of the year, and they have cooled down a lot. Some of it's injuries, some of it's been injury to other players, some of it's just been unfortunate. And we got the Bake Show.
I'm gonna go say this. Baker, I'm gonna put him in the game manager role too. I think when everything clicking, he's great. And I want him on my team. But do I like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put the world on his back and he's gonna be my friend and he's gonna be my franchise quarterback? I'm sorry, I don't see it. But like I said, I don't think he'll Froster. I just think he's in the same category with Bo Nix. Like, yo, can he win me some games? Yes. Can he do what I need him to do? Yes. Do we got the moxie? Yes. But when the moxie goes away, it gets real interesting how the team functions.
I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say I think Bake Show is a franchise quarterback. I think he can do what he needs him to do. He's shown he can be able to be clutch. I think the teams around him, especially this year, have just broken down. Like Mike Evans going out with an injury definitely hurt a lot. Ibuka getting injured, that definitely hurt a lot. I think so, and then he himself is banged up as well. Like, he's been, and Baker always is tough. So he plays through injury, which has been another problem. So I think a lot of that has broken down in the team. And then, being fair, Todd Bowles is not an offensive coach. Todd Bowles is a defensive coach. And the defense has been wishy-washy. But so even though he's been successful, I think you may want to talk about getting a better offensive coordinator or somebody in there if you want to keep Todd Bowles to be able to help with that. But just I think that, they might be in a bit of trouble. They definitely got to win out through these next 2 games. They can definitely beat them. But I think, yeah, you might start making a few changes. But like the team going forward, Mike Evans, you give him another year. Ibuka is a wonderful receiver. You get Jalen McMillan, try to get him going again. Still got good tight ends. So I think they're good. It's just, not to go against the Buccaneers. I just think there's some stuff that needs to be adjusted. But I think Bake Show you can win with him. You can win with the Bake Show. I think he'll do everything you need him to do. And even better than game manager potential than what, some of these other people we talked about. So I think he definitely can be your franchise quarterback. You might not want to pay him as much as, your Josh Allens and stuff, even Trevor Lawrence, might not want to go that high, but yeah, I think he could be your guy.
By the way, shout out to Weekend Wingman. Oh, Tampa dude, I agree with that. I was thinking that too about Todd Bowles. That defense is hard to do when you do that. By the way, what person in the draft? I'm looking at them boys from Miami weekend. I'm looking at them guys from Miami when they play Texas A&M, how they dominated. I think you get one of them. I think you might can. I think 4 is an outside, but you can get 3. There's a few more players I'm looking at. If I was Tampa, I would want to look into. But yeah,
I say I think work on the defense, and like I said, I would look at possibly changing. Like, I don't know if the offense coordinator, I can't remember who we got right now. I don't know if the offense coordinator they got right now is the answer or Todd Bowles something, because they're flaming out, and right now they're even struggling to score and stuff. And I'm just like, the talent ain't the problem, because you got people on that team that can get separation, that can score, that can run routes. Mike Evans has been a 1,000-yard receiver, for years, and I'm just like, you got players that can win. So, I don't know, you might just need a new voice or a new changeup in some other areas. I just don't want to necessarily say get rid of Todd Bowles, but if that's the route you might feel you need to go, then, you wouldn't be the first Super Bowl winning coach that, then had to get the boot, but, you just need to change up a few things in there, I feel.
I agree.
That's what I got. But finally, we move on to the man who proved some of his haters wrong, Sam Darnold. Can he be a franchise quarterback?
No. No. Even this week, even the week they won and they beat the Rams, he tried to get that game to the Rams. He threw almost 2 pick sixes. Sam Darnold, when the lights on, plays awful. Even when he win, you be like, dang, your defense really helped you get this. Your special teams really helped you get this. Listen, he tried everything to me to give that game against the Rams away. Like, I'm like, the only reason y'all down, you owe them this much to come back because you the only reason they down. The Rams was until the second half when the corner got hurt and Ezekiel got hurt. Then the Rams was off to the races. Before that, y'all held the Rams pretty good. But yeah, he gave the Rams basically the lead. Some of them passes was awful. Monray, that one on that when he threw it to the outside. I don't know who he was looking at, but the only man was there was the Rams player. And he had nobody in front of him when he was running forward. I'm like, why would you throw that pass? No, Sam Darnold is not. Sam Darnold, a good quarterback to have on your roster if you need one. But would I call him a franchise? No.
That's funny. Now, I'm going to agree. And even with my power rankings will reflect my same thoughts. No, I don't think it's franchise quarterback. The Rams basically fell apart with that last game. They fell apart at the end. They had the game in control. They was up 16 points. And they had to allow 2 scores. One came from a punt return where so the special teams guy get looked at because the special teams also missed a field goal that also would have ended this game had that field goal went in. So they literally gave the game away, which it took a collapse on defense, the offense not scoring at all. Mind you, this is without Devontae Adams, their number 2 wide receiver, which was also an important part of the offense. So without their offense, they were up 16. They had to give up two scores and two 2-point conversions and an overtime score to lose that game and another 2-point conversion. So it's just like, bruh, like that can't happen. I don't know why that collapse happened to them, but it took a collapse for Sam Darnold to be able to get that team back in the game. Regularly, no. They are not a playoff. They're not. They're probably going to end up with the number 1 seed, all things considered. And I still don't think they're going. I still don't think so. I think Sam Darnold under the bright lights, we clearly saw, it's just, no. I don't think he's franchise quarterback. I don't. If you can say, he proved the haters wrong, to me, what he proved is that if a game is given to him at the end, they can take it, which I'm proud of it, but they try to get a game away to each other. But the Rams just had another collapse like they did it with the Eagles previously in the year, where they had the game under control and special teams and the offense and the defense all failed at the same time, which can't happen. But
no, I ain't gonna lie though, if you're a receiver number 1, he's really good to you. If you're a receiver number 1, he is very good to you.
Shout out to JSN. He did me well this year. We just got hope.
Sam Darnold right now because as a receiver, he gonna get you that ball. 2 players I know gonna get their number 1 receiver the ball. Matthew Stafford.
Sam Darnold.
Listen, and Sam Darnold. Matthew Stafford got probably 3 of the 5 top receiving seasons in history because he throws the ball to you every play.
Megatron, Cooper Kupp, and Puka Nacua.
Yeah, and because you gonna get targeted 15 to 20 times a game because he gonna throw you the ball. He used to that from Calvin Johnson. He's like, yo, my number 1 player throwing you the ball no matter what. You can be double covered, triple covered. You gonna get off.
Yep, that is proof.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, he is very good. And Jackson and Jigba, yeah. And like I said, Justin Jefferson probably misses him right now. But franchise quarterback, no. But if you're a number 1 receiver, shoot, come to my team right now, please. I know you're gonna throw me the ball. I'm getting 12 to 15 targets. I know that. But I do got one extra though, who been hot lately, and his career is weird. Bryce Young.
No. I'm sorry. Like, no. It's been 3 years. They got to contemplate if they're going to take his 5th-year option. Like, he got to report his 4th year. Have I seen enough? No, I have not. And it's just because it's been so inconsistent. It sort of reminds me of like Kyler Murray. Like, it sort of reminds me of Kyler Murray. Like, just, Murray has a playoff appearance. But I have not seen any real level of consistency. Has he been better than he was his first year, even the first 2 years? Yes. But I just have not seen that level of consistency or just the peaks as much to really be able to be like, yeah, he can be your guy. I have not seen it.
You know what I noticed about him? It takes him like 7 weeks to get started. Like the first 7 weeks, every Carolina fan I know, all the people I know from Raleigh and Charlotte, shout out to y'all. I love y'all on Facebook. But every one of y'all know, be like, trade him. And then by week 8, he done clicked. It just clicks for him. He played well the rest of the season. But it takes like 7 weeks for him to start playing well. It's been like that.
I say I haven't seen it. Like I ain't seen nothing to be like, okay, Bryce can be the guy. I ain't seen nothing like that. And it ain't like even this year it's probably been his best year. They only have 7 wins. No, 8 wins, my bad. This year, their best year, they had 8 wins. No, and like I said, it's his 3rd year in the league. You know, now has he had some turmoil with the head coaches and stuff? Yeah, so I give him a bit of a mulligan, but I just have not seen enough to say, like, okay, this could be the guy. I ain't seen. No, I have not seen that. I still think even if they make the playoffs this year, they're going to be an easy round 1 out for whoever the number 2 seeded team is. And they're going to go in the offseason, possibly pick up the 5th-year option and go from there. Maybe get a quarterback in one of the later rounds, but I just don't see it. I don't see it right now. Sorry.
I'm just going to say
the other one I can think of is Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor might be making his case that he can be that guy. That's the only one I meant to add on this list. I think Trevor might be making the case to be that guy. They just got a good Broncos win. They're surging at the right time. He's had a really good month.
I still need to see him in that playoff game before I decide.
And the thing about it, we have to also give respect and credence to Trevor Lawrence. He has won a playoff game. He won. Now, he beat Justin Herbert when they choked the 30-point lead, but he won a playoff game. So we have to give him some credence and respect. Like, he does have playoff experience. They might be the dark horse hot team this year. Who knows?
They are on fire right now.
They are on fire. They got 2 easy games left, and they are in the fight for the number 1 seed because the Broncos are only 1 game, and right now they have a tiebreaker over the Broncos directly. But the Broncos are only 1 game ahead of them and the Patriots. So we have to remember that. Only 1 game ahead of them. So the number 1 seed is still in contention. No, mind you.
That's fair.
And the Broncos' next 2 games are the Chiefs and Chargers.
Oh, they Chiefs team. Every quarterback on their
team. Chiefs is cooked, but the Chargers game is going to be a really important game. That could be really important.
Yeah, they don't have Rashee Rice. They both quarterback tore ACL. I'm like, my God. But y'all know it's the last part of the show. I think everybody been watching. Like and subscribe to that notification bell if you have enjoyed the show. But it's the last thing. Y'all know it's the power rankings time. So we can go over the power rankings.
Let you go first.
So I am going to go first with this. So first off, let's go through the power rankings. Here it is. First off, week 1. I gotta go Seahawks. Listen, I can't put the Rams at number 1. I mean the Broncos and then Rams at number 1 and 2, and not move the Seahawks after they beat them. Despite how I feel, but this is despite how I feel, I have to be objective. I have to be objective, right? Because I had to pick the Seahawks. I have to. They beat the Rams, and then the Broncos lost, my top 2 teams, so they move up. Despite how I feel about Sam Darnold, despite the way they're playing this season, they are the number 1 seed in the NFC. I think they're tied for the top record right now. They are right now the number 1 seed based off their play, despite how lucky I felt like they was or how bad I feel like Sam Darnold played. The team is a really good team. It's a really good team. Unfortunately, one of their Pro Bowl corners, possible Pro Bowl corner, has got injured. And so hopefully he's back soon. I haven't checked the status report for it, but hopefully he's back. If they back, they got a really good secondary who was ranked 11th before this last game in terms of movement. The secondary is ranked 11th in passing. Decent run defense, decent run game, okay quarterback who, as long as he's not playing with the TV lights on him, he's pretty good. But once the lights go on, he don't. And then good running game. Overall, it'll be crazy for me not to put them ahead when they beat one of the teams ahead at the top. So I will put the Seahawks there temporarily. Don't know if I believe it, but I got to be honest with how the season going. Facts over feelings. Number 2, Patriots. Listen, they came back. They made a play. Drake May did what he had to do. They stay at number 2. They went down to number 2, but they didn't. I wasn't impressed with the game they played, but still, number 2. Rams, number 3. They lost to the Seahawks. Great game. They lost to number 1. Can't go down too far. Number 4, Broncos. They go down again. Again, the Bo Nix effect, and Trevor Lawrence is outplaying Bo Nix, and if a top elite quarterback play Bo Nix, will they be able to overcome in a scoring fest and a high scoring game? Even though they have scored 30, but usually it's because of other things. And then, of course, we got the Chicago Bears, number 5. Walk-off Williams, as they've been calling him in Chicago. You know that, Monray? They called him Walk-off Williams because he throws a touchdown, put his hand in the pocket while the ball in the air, and just walks off the field. Walk-off Williams, just like a home run. My God, shout out to Walk-off Williams. Had to keep him in the top 5. They are right now currently the number 2 seed. We mostly got the top seeds in the playoffs right now. We mostly have them. And Jacksonville is an honorable mention. Monray.
Yo. So let me think. I am somewhat disappointed still because the Seahawks should not be number 1. This is a lot of recency bias, and I told you this is a lot of recency bias because
what's the record? I have to go off the record, and they beat the team.
This is not the standings. This is power rankings. These are not the standings, and we give the Seahawks credit for an upset win last week when Rams team collapsed, and we forget
they won the game,
and we forget. The Rams have beaten them before this. So it's not like, they have the significant thing over. No, they have a record, but nobody, I think, is going to pick the Seahawks over the Rams. No, especially when the Rams were missing a wide receiver. So no, I'm not going that far.
Seahawks,
they're okay. So I think it's a little awkward in that the Bears should not be here. I respect the Bears, but they beat Malik Willis at the end of the game. I'm not going to give them that.
Their defense was not prepared for Malik Willis.
It was not. But unfortunately, Malik Willis was not ready for Malik Willis.
You didn't tell us we had a running quarterback this week. We thought we had
but Malik Willis was also not ready for Malik Willis since, they fumbled the snap. So, it wasn't ready for them either. So I feel like the Bears shouldn't be here. Seahawks are too high. I'm cool with mostly everything else.
Let's go to Monray's list.
Nah, to my own power rankings, this is what it should be because, 1, the Rams should not fall. They were without a second wide receiver. They got injuries in the end of the game, and they ended up having a collapse.
Seahawks was out without their number 1 corner.
That's fine. I feel like they shouldn't have that, but that's okay.
Safety. By the way, Seahawks was out without Kobe, the safety, and their number 1 cornerback, and Emmanuel, their linebacker. So corner and receiver, number 1 corner, number 2 receiver.
That ain't the same because they have other corners. And they were able to generate stuff, but like missing your number 2 wide receiver versus missing a corner is not the same.
Miss a corner and a safety, the starting corner, the number 1 corner, the Pro Bowler, and the safety for the number 11 passing defense that held Matthew Stafford to 185 yards, by the way, the first time they played fully healthy, by the way. I want you to understand that.
But then the problem comes when the Rams started missing their own corner and defensive players at the end of the game. So it also, regardless, the Seahawks won a game, but it was against the best Rams, and they had to get a little bit of help. And they barely won the game in overtime to a 2-point conversion that was a little questionable. They barely won. Now, so like I said, the Seahawks barely lost the last game as well, but I'm not of the mindset that they should be that high. I respect them, but do I believe in them? No, I do not believe. And it's weird. I
want y'all to say fully healthy. The Seahawks
fully healthy. I do not believe in the Seahawks.
Seahawks held Matthew Stafford, defense fully healthy, to his worst game of the season.
This is true. And fully healthy. The defense also made Sam Darnold see ghosts. So therefore, and he was seeing ghosts before they went out this game. So I am not of the mind. Like I said, I don't have the Seahawks on here because I do not believe in the Seahawks. The same way I said I didn't believe in the Steelers. Same way I said I'm standing for. I do not believe in the Seahawks. Mainly because of Sam Darnold. I do not believe in them. I just don't. And so they may end up with the number 1 seed and might be the first number 1 seed that gets bounced out in the second round after a while. They might be like the Lions last year. The Lions last year went 14-3 and was the first seed, got put out by our surging. They may be the same way, mainly because of Sam Darnold. Now, can they win? Yeah. Can they prove me wrong? Yes. Because are they a good team? Yes. No, I just don't. And like I said, they will be tested because they're about to play the 49ers. which will let me see, do I really believe in them? If they beat both of them, fine. Then I'll say, yeah, they'll probably be up here around like, anywhere from 1 to 3. But if they, look bad against the 49ers, even if they win, if they look bad again, I'm like, bro, there's no way they're going to get through all like 2 or 3. No, I'm not going to buy it. But so, no, I got the Jaguars. Shout out to the Jaguars. They surging. They look great. Beat the Broncos. I'm just not of the mindset that one win determines your season. They beat the Broncos, but, they have losses against a lot of other teams. The Broncos was on a 12-game win streak. They were bound to lose a game. It's understandable. And everything caught up to them. So I'm not weighing the Broncos as much for that loss. Patriots reaffirmed themselves after that win. They was able to come back against the Lamarless Ravens at the end of the game. So, same thing. 49ers, Brock Purdy showed a dominant performance yesterday. They're still there. We'll see how they do against the Seahawks. And then, of course, they got the Jaguars. Rams are still, I think, on paper, when all healthy, best team in the league. I don't think it's a wide margin. I'm not going to say that, but I do think they're still the best team in the league. And so one loss doesn't determine all that. Even if they don't get the number 1 seed, I still think they're the favorites to come out of the NFC. So that's my squad. It's my listing. You can tell me if I'm right or wrong. That's how I go with it.
Yeah. By the way, I do want to show this. This is the injuries they had last week to their secondary alone. Kobe Bryant starter. Reek Woolen starter. Devin Witherspoon was the starter before he got hurt. Julian Love hurt. And a rookie sensation who plays nickel was also hurt. They missed 5 players last week against the Rams. And everybody like, oh, that's by the way. Why do I say this? Seahawks was the 9th best pass defense in the league before all of them got hurt, and they got torched. So I do want to make.
And I'm amazed at that. And I go back to their first game that they played a few weeks ago.
All of them were healthy.
When everybody was healthy,
they
lost.
They shut Matthew.
When everybody was healthy, they lost.
Sam Darnold was on TV.
What changed now? The only thing that changed was that the Rams had injuries, not before the game where the Seahawks was able to try to scheme around or whatever. Injuries during the game, which affects you worse because you cannot scheme and try to plan for when your team goes out mid-game. And they fell apart because, mind you, when the Rams didn't have those injuries, they were up 16 points. So somewhere along the line, the Seahawks was able to get their defense together at the end of the game because the defense was able to come together and stop Matthew Stafford. So my mindset, when both teams are fully healthy, one team sees ghost, the other team know how to win. That's why I'm not putting the Seahawks that high, because I do not trust them.
I get it, but like I said,
what it is.
I want to show them love. By the way, shout out to the Texans who are playing very well right now.
True.
It's surprisingly on a winning streak. And of course, we saw the Jaguars and another team and a few other teams that have been playing pretty well lately that we didn't mention. But I'm looking at some of y'all now. We got some interesting match. And the Eagles finally got some sorry teams to get their reps up. so if we can get Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts started. If we can get him started, he's looking like he's getting started. Remember when I said you just play the Cowboys? You just play the Cowboys, and then you're back on track. Just all we needed to was play the Raiders.
No, all y'all needed was to play the Raiders, and everything looks right.
And now we got the Commanders. Look,
you play the Raiders, then you play Commanders that's still injured without Jaden Daniels and all that. Now you look amazing. That's why
we play them twice. It looks beautiful out here. Listen, and we just play the Raiders. We play the Commanders. 300 yards, 100. We got Saquon Barkley looking back like Saquon Barkley. Look, that's all we need. We needed a few sorry teams after. We did have a hard stretch, by the way. Like I think we played like all the top teams in the NFC during the stretch. Like all the playoff teams. Like we played the Lions, Bears, Packers. like we just went through a stretch of playing all the Rams. We just went through a stretch of playing all the toughest teams. So we needed some sorry teams to get us back on track. Hopefully gets Jalen Hurts his confidence so he throw the ball.
Y'all got your only test really left because you got the Commanders again, even though the Commanders are pissed because the trash talk stuff that was talked about. So they may give you a little bit more of a challenge the second time around. If y'all even start y'all starters, because you may not start your starters in the last week. But this Bills game will be a challenge because the Bills have something to play for. They're trying to catch the Patriots. So y'all will have y'all real test to see if you're back or if you're faking.
Yeah, and I want to end on this because we didn't talk about it. DK Metcalf just got $45 million voided from him. for a slate.
Yeah, I made sure to share that earlier. Like, bruh, not only did he void $40 million, if the Steelers lose to the Browns, now this will require the Ravens to actually win their next game against the Packers, which I don't know if Jordan Love is going to play. They're going to try. I think he's trying to get to the point where he can play, but I don't know if he's going to play. And so if Malik Willis is out there, look, I'm just going to say this. If we have to see a game of Malik Willis versus Tyler Huntley with playoff implications, I'm going to be sick. I ain't going to lie to you, but I'm going to be sick if we have to sit there and watch that game for playoff complications. But it is on the books, that on the table, that we may have to watch Malik Willis versus Tyler Huntley. But it's going to be an ugly game. But it is possible that DK Metcalf could cost them this Browns win. And if they lose the Browns game, then, all of a sudden, we might be looking at DK Metcalf costing his team a playoff spot because he is their number one wide receiver, and, just saying, but it will require the Ravens to win. Now, if the Ravens don't win next week and Pittsburgh Steelers lose, then it don't matter.
Because I think he got bad back contusions. Back contusions is not to play with. That is.
Yeah, I think Lamar. I ain't gonna hold you. I think Lamar's done for the year. I'm just be real. I think he's done. Yeah. I don't think he starts this week. I thought he's probably gonna try to get out there because this game is really important. But if the Steelers win anyway, then it won't matter because they're just gonna have too many wins. It will require the Steelers to lose to Shedeur Sanders and the Browns, and I don't know if that's gonna happen. DK Metcalf not being there is important. So I don't know how this is gonna go.
I like how they did it just enough for the playoffs. They didn't spend more than that.
Just enough, boy. Just enough.
So when do they play? Oh, these games on Christmas Day is nasty.
Yeah, I ain't even worried about the Christmas Day games, but that's some nasty work. All three of them are useless.
Cowboys and Commanders, the out of playoff game. It'd be fun to watch George Pickens probably do something crazy. Detroit Lions versus the Vikings. The Detroit Lions are on like a downfall, and the Vikings, I don't know what they got going on. And then Broncos and Chiefs. The Chiefs on their third string quarterback that was on the practice squad a week ago.
Like in the earlier parts of the year, these games were supposed to be exciting and good. But unfortunately, because of injuries and playoff eliminations, this is what we have.
So, but the Chiefs got a quarterback that wasn't even supposed to didn't even dress out last week playing. So
though I say, yeah, and they down their third stringer. Like, so I ain't gonna lie, bro. Christmas gonna get ugly. The only reason you probably gonna watch the Christmas games if you're either a diehard fan or you have some numbers of playing. We don't approve of gambling here over on 99 Media, but
listen, FanDuel. I will say this right now, FanDuel, you send that bag. We get these.
But if y'all want to sponsor us, make sure to bet responsibly. But we're just saying,
we're against that until you pay us.
Bet responsibly. Otherwise, we will just tell you, like, hey, it is important that them probably the only reason you're gonna watch the game. Otherwise, it's Christmas, you ain't gonna have nothing else to watch and nothing else to do, so you might do it that way. But we just letting you know, these games ugly. These games gonna be ugly.
And Ro, you want to sponsor us too? I'll get Uniqo.
DraftKings, we'll take y'all to.
Listen, we will do sports betting lineups on it. Not that I will bet. I'm just gonna tell you now, but shoot, we'll give you numbers. They be asking me at work. Listen, I do that research. But that's all I got. Monray, what can they find you?
It's your boy Monray Hudson. Everywhere it says Monray Hudson, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, of course, and on Make It Make Sense, the podcast on Saturdays, as we do our final show of the year, counting down the top 10 trending topics we discussed on the show for this year, as well as hopes for the future and some trailers. Shout out to Marvel. We'll take sponsorships from y'all too. So be a good show. Round out the year. Don't do nothing we wouldn't do. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. Yeah.
We'll see you next week. I'm interested in what topics we talking about and everything else. Again, I hope y'all like the new show format. I hope it went smooth for you. I appreciate y'all. Peace.